Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militiaman and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey, good evening everybody. It's Friday. I hope everybody's having a freaking good day, because it should be. Let's see what we have in the news today. Militiaman and Crew here, of course. Everybody's pretty much pumped, pretty much excited, because the fact is that the news has been coming off the charts with, for instance, like SULAIMANI, the advisor. He's been out for the last couple of weeks educating everybody. You and I, for instance, reiterating why they do what they do, explaining to everybody, the citizens, everything, of how the systems work, why they do what they do, how they do it. You see things about economists coming out talking about what they believe the central bank of Iraq is dealing with the Federal Reserve Bank, United States Treasury. You can see that these guys are serious about explaining stuff. So that's where we're at. We're watching, and we're all being educated, and that's what Militiaman and Crew do, is do the news. We give it to the best of our ability, and we do that with integrity. We try to do the best that we can to keep it to the truth. It's what we see, it's what we read, and it's what we share, so we keep it that way. It's not all hearsay. So we try to vet stuff, and we do that. So keep that in mind when you guys come into patreon.com/MM and Crew. And then we have the Militiaman's chat room. So when you come into Discord, you guys can find us simply and easily. GG shows up to help people. We have Greg on occasion. He's got another job. A lot of people have jobs, you guys, so it's not all that easy to maintain this whole process. Samson, of course, she just rock star. She just brings in the news on a regular basis. And you guys realize that it's fascinating, because her time zone is different than mine. So in other words, I'm awake, she's sleeping. News feed comes in the morning, because they're a day ahead of us. So anyway, you get an idea where she's at. So look, the theft of the century, it's been in the news quite a few times, and it's growing, and it's a big deal. It's in the forefront again. Why is this in the forefront? Is because they're going to claw back a lot of money. A lot of money. And why is that important to you and I? Well, if they claw back a lot of money, and it goes all back to the treasury, tens of billions of dinars, or multiple billions of dollars, if it's all clawed back from people that stole their money from the citizens, it's a big issue. And in this particular article, I highly recommend you guys read it, because they're going to be quiet about it, because it's that sensitive. The investigation is probably unfolding to the extent that they need to be very, very careful. Because you got to remember, in these countries, Iraq and others, that there's political forces, and some of these political forces, or I shouldn't say forces, but bodies, have forces, militia forces, protecting them. And as the dollar dries up, you're probably going to find that, as we've been saying, that that cash cow starts to get pinched. And when you're talking about billions of dollars in value drying up, it's going to be intense, and it has been intense. But bottom line is, here this guy, the head of the Integrity Commission, Judge Haider Hanoun, he's basically stating that extradition of one of the major defendants in the tax deposit theft case. So there's like numerous cases with people. I'm not going to get into each and every one of them, but what they do say is that this case will not die, and the government gives its full priority. Well, they are doing that because this is the theft of the century. Okay, there's a lot of money involved, and it probably goes a lot deeper than this, to be fair, and that's what they're going to say to us. The theft recorded against the accused is 988 billion Iraqi dinars, which are not final figures. Okay, so they find that they have 988 now, but there's going to be more. Think about that for a minute. If they change the value of their currency from, let's just say they're going to just drop the 3 zeros and just do it $1, etc. Because right now, you guys look, go on the internet, you can find it. The 1310 equates to about what, 0007.633 or 533. You guys just look it up again. Fact remains is that's insane amount of dinar. Well, if they drop those 3 zeros, it goes back to what? To the exchange rate, not the currency, to the exchange rate. That becomes 0.76, right? In the billions. So you got to go, wow. So yeah, no wonder the country is like going, I mean, we'd have to pay out on that if in fact that they were able to keep them. We have to pay out on that. So by doing what they're doing and finding this stuff is amazing. And it's really good for the country. I think it's really good for the citizens, and it's really good for you and I. Because effectively, before they ever get onto the Forex, in my opinion, is that 0.76 is not going to get them to make their budget work. It's just not. And I think Al-Sudani knows that. Al-Alaq knows that. I think everybody in the world probably knows that. Well, except for the internet. But that's okay. Fact remains is that the theft of all this money is coming to fruition. But this particular deal is one separate deal. There's others they've recovered. They've actually clawed it back. Tens of billions of dinar. Aside from this, tens of billions. Go think about it. Tens of billions added on to this. It's amazing. So anyway, what you guys are going to really find funny is what I like about it is let's hold on a second. Okay, so there's a guy named Abdul, and his last name is Tawfiq. Is accused of stealing more. He's accused allegedly of more than 2 trillion dinar. He was arrested. He's also the managing director of what they call the Humpback Whale Company. He's the fourth that's accused of stealing tax deposits in Allah Khalaf Moran, who is now a fugitive in Lebanon and Turkey, or Turkey probably. He's affiliated with Khatami, Prime Minister, in the background. Not saying he's in part of this, just saying that that's what he said. But he says he was part of that office, and it says 890 billion dinars were found in his pocket. And that's what it caught my eye, and I had to laugh. I mean, think about it, you guys. 890 billion dinars in his pocket. All right, well, probably one of his accounts. It could be any I have to laugh. But that's just funny, because could you imagine him going through a turnstile with 890 billion dinar? No, that's just being silly. Anyway, you guys, the deal of the century is not going to go away. That's the key. That's the kicker, is that it's just so much money that's been stolen. I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but the Panama Papers. There's a lot of guys in the news right now. We got high ups in the news that were part of that. Those WikiLeaks, the Panama Papers. There's some big names. I'm not going to mention them tonight in my here, but if you guys look it up, you're going to see at least 2 prime ministers from the past, and now you might even find 3, but the most recent one that's implied, maybe not, because of his background. I'll give him some kudos and credit, because the man he seemed to be good, but obviously Al-Sudani has taken his place. Okay, so then obviously you can tell who that is. And then subsequently, remember what happened in 2016. So think about that. And then think about those Panama Papers. If you do your research, you're going to find out that there's some people and there's some names that are probably not going to be off the hook, because this isn't going away. Not at all. And especially under the terms and conditions that we're seeing in the last few days. Prime Minister advisor, we're moving towards reforming the government banking sector. So the financial advisor, Prime Minister Mohammed Saleh, he's been in the news a lot, everybody. He's flat out been in the news. And why? Because he's a professional. He's one to listen to. And obviously, what is he talking about? He's talking about that they're going to reform the banking system. It's one of the most prominent priorities of the government program. Reforming the banking system is one of the most prominent government programs. That's what bottom line. What are they going to have? They're going to have a positive impact on the economy. Basically, they're saying that right now they're indicating the first steps of this reform began through the government banking sector, which currently dominates more than 85% of the banking system's assets. And its banking operations and activities account for more than, or at least above and beyond the same percentage of total deposits and credit. Okay, so who's involved with this? Well, Prime Minister Shia al-Sudani, he's been dealing with them. He's talking about, he's actually sharing meetings with these guys to develop the work of the banks, and he's directed the finalization. So that's a key point. He's directed the finalization of the procedures for developing the work of the Raffidain Bank. Remember, Ernst & Young's involved. Raffidain, Rashid Bank, but they're focusing on, in this article, about Raffidain. It might be the first one that they do at the same time, but my understanding is they're going to merge them both. The Prime Minister's media office said during the meetings, which was attended by representatives of who? Ernst & Young, for auditing and financial consulting. And they basically said it was briefed on technical administrative procedures for the Raffidain Bank Development Project, which were taken during period following the signing of contract with the company, which was back in January, if I remember correctly, and I believe I'm 100% right on that. We'll see. But anyway, so this advisor, Soleil, he tells the news agency that the government's vision for economic reform focused largely on the banking reform, which is one of the priorities of the government's program. And again, the first steps began through the Raffidain Bank. So there's more. Remember, they have a contract, and if you remember what that contract was about, it had four or five different components to it, all the way down to taking the real estate bank into the housing fund. So it's in Patreon, patreon.com, Crew, and you can find that. Just do your little searches that you can find, and you're going to find a lot of very good information, especially for those members, right? Okay. Let's see, it says here that it says one of the things that they're talking about is that they're being prepared for the global auditing accounting firm Ernst & Young. And what do? It's based on the principle of creating a highly efficient government commercial banking sector that takes the initiative with the rest of the banking market in financing market activity and digital foundations and financial accounting technologies in accordance with modern financial engineering. So they're going to take it to that international level. They're taking Iraq to that level. And what are they also doing? It looks like they point out that the birth of the government has banks specialized in managing government banking operations exclusively, and is a fundamental pillar in organizing the treasury account, remember that, unified treasury account, and stabilizing the government cash flow budgets, i.e. at the same time being the arm of the finance government banking operation. So basically the most prominent priorities or goals is to reform the banking system. That's what I take away from this. It says we know that the plan is to take these two state banks private, so of course that's where they're headed, and basically they're about ready to do business globally, and Ernst & Young have been contracted to do just that. And obviously, I think if you look at their track record, where they're located, who they know, who they're associated with, you're going to say that these guys are top-notch, and they do everything by the book, and they play strictly. How about that? All right. So there's an article out. I don't have the actual headline because it got erased, but it's basically in SULAIMANI in the south. It says SULAIMANI government has begun handing over all its revenues to the federal government in Baghdad and has abandoned Erbil's policy in this file. Now, if I've got the geography wrong, don't hold me to it, please. The administration of SULAIMANI government has begun to hand over all its internal revenues directly to the federal government. Well, why are they doing that? Well, they have a unified treasury account. Ernst & Young talks about it. Everybody else has talked about it. It's not new. It's been around for a while. Okay, so think about it. It says, the source explains that all internal revenue from what? Taxes, customs, border crossings have been and begun to be delivered directly to Baghdad. Amazing. SULAIMANI used to hand over revenues to the Kurdistan Region government in Erbil, but has now taken a step towards Baghdad for direct financial connection with the center. Haven't they unified the salaries and stuff? Haven't they started doing that? See where we're going with this, you guys? Everybody's getting on board, electronic, unified. It's going to be great. I think it's awesome. So, what's next? Kurdistan Region transfers more than okay. So the north, Kurdistan Region transfers more than 75 billion dinars to the federal treasury. Now, why would they do that? Well, because the system's going to start working. The electronic systems are going to be paying attention. Where's the money flow? And of course, what are they looking at? It says Thursday, it was yesterday, transfer of non-oil revenues of the Kurdistan region to the bank account of the Federal Ministry of Finance. So not only in the south, to the north, they're doing it. This is 75 billion dinar off the street. So let's just think about it for a minute. So you have like the theft of the century talking about it. You have them talking about two different entities, north and south, sending money to Baghdad to unify that treasury account, if you will. And then they're talking about clawing back all this money. So here you have 75 billion dinar. Article out just recently was a massive amount also. I can't remember what that number is, but I can look that up. But anyway, the good part is that they're pulling this money out of the system. And the more that they do that, which we already know that they've had it since 2018, since they printed money, we watched videos. I think I'm not the only one. I guarantee I'm not the only one that watched a video specifically of them showing you how they destroyed 25K notes. Perfectly good ones. They were making them into plugs and they were using them for, I don't know, furnaces, I guess. But the cool part is that it's real, it's true. All right, so back in April 25th, 2024, there was a thing that called, so it's been time. General population census is an essential pillar for distributing wealth in Iraq. Okay, so if you take out money out of the system, you're going to bring some wealth to the citizens. Okay, that's what you're going to do, because if you take off supply and demand, you bring value. So if you increase the money supply, you depreciate the value. If you diminish the money supply, you bring value. That's it. Okay, that right there, and what we're seeing, especially if they bring back all that money into the treasury account, just like they just said, it's going to go into the treasury, right? Then you're going to realize, whoa, so they can drop 3 zeros and not have to worry about paying out on tens of billions of dinar, or even, well, many, many, many tens of billions. Okay, that's why the government is going to be hot on that trail of that century, that theft of the century, is because that's just money they don't have to pay out. It's not going to come out of the citizens' pockets. You guys, you have to think of it that way. That's what I do anyway. Okay, so the general population census is an essential pillar in the process of sustainable development, construction, distribution of resources and wealth, and the knowledge of the population and development situation in the country. Okay, so they're going to have a census. We know that. And we know that they've already done something that's really powerful. Now, I don't know if I'm right on this or not. I really don't. And I'm not going to say if I'm right or wrong. But these national cards, they're ID. So when you have an ID, you have an address, right? Okay. So they gave out 39 million cards, and there's like 43 million people. Well, there's a lot of kids that may not have cards, but they've done that already. So, interesting thing. Just think about it in concepts like, well, wow, if they have national cards, they're biometric, they're all these different fingerprints, all that stuff, right? Then, wouldn't you have an address? Where are you located? Where are you? Do you have a card? Yes. Where are you located? Are you in X, Y, Z? You see what I'm getting at? All right. So could they be further along than they admit? Yeah. Just like the Central Bank of Iraq. I don't know why nobody wants to take a picture of that building today. I don't know why. I've been trying. Anybody out there? Send me one. I'd like to see it. What is an accurate? We can forensic it. We can check it out and see if it's today. Okay? I'd like to see if there's still cranes on the top. I would do. If it's for real, we can forensic that. So just check it out. That'd be good. The census has no effect on Article 140. This is the comment from this guy named al-Baldawi. Okay? It has no effect on Article 140, and its form does not contain nationality or sect, and therefore it's devoid of any political aspect. Okay, so basically what they're saying is that it's all about, I'm assuming, the national cards, because they're not about that. They are going to be about who are you, where are you from, and that's how everybody's going to get paid. And it's going to be based off, that's just how it is. They have a lot of natural resources in specific areas, but ultimately, guess what? It comes down to the unified treasury account. Everybody's an Iraqi. I think it's going to be even Steven. It don't matter how much you have in Kirkuk or Basra or anything. I'm pretty sure it's going to be divvied up in a fair manner. And that's going to be every Iraqi that has a national card that is an Iraqi is going to get their constitutional rights. Fair enough. I'll leave it at that. Here it says, back in April, Baghdad, it says that they were posting an interview with Al-Alaq. Okay, why is this kind of important? We're going to go through it. It says they had a council meeting where there is data that supports that Al-Sudani is telling in an interview during question and answer portion, okay, in April 2024, it says, here's another question for you about the Iraqi dinar. Okay, it says, is the government thinking of reevaluating the dinar and readjusting the value of the dinar due to the current circumstances in the market? Or do you see it to stay the same? This is to Sudani. Sudani says, that policy, by the way, is dictated by the central bank. We all know that. And the government abides by what the bank decides. They're independent, are they not? Fairly sure they are. So he says, right now, I believe we are in the best status that we could be in. That's in April. And we have actually had an assessment. So they had a valuation or an opinion, opinion, which has given much trust and higher trust at a higher level from different global parties. So we started reforms when it comes to the banking sector, and when we spoke about that before. So that's pretty powerful. Don't know exactly what he's saying, other than what he's done has given much trust, and higher than what was expected from global parties. Okay, so he says then, but this is going to actually raise the level of, or the value of the Iraqi dinar. Okay, that's that interview, and that's a snippet. You can find that in patreon.com and take a look at it. It's out there. And then how about this one? How are you doing there, kiddo? Ophelia just showed up, you guys. With the documents, it says the federal court confirms the authority of the President of the Republic to submit draft laws to Parliament. It says documents issued by the Federal Supreme Court. This is great because, a lot of people were saying that, well, not a lot of people, one in specific, but I'm not going to get into that, that the 2023, 2024, 2025 budget was illegal. But it's not. It says documents issued by the Federal Supreme Court on Friday, circulated by the several media sites, showed a ruling on the authority of the President of the Republic to submit draft laws to the House of Representatives, with the exception of the financial budget law and the final account, as there are exclusive competence of the Council of Ministers. So basically what it's stating is that the budget law, if you amend it, it is under the Council of Ministers, just like we've been saying from the beginning, the 23, 24, 25 budget. Look, the court issued documents that show it is within the Council of Ministers' exclusive competence to submit the final accounts of the financial budget law. To me, I think there you have it. It doesn't say anything about the budget being or having been illegal. It's a good thing to know the truth. It really is. And all of you that come to Militiaman and Crew in our Discord chat room know that by now. So here's a British firm to provide conformity assessment services in Iraq. This is a article that is fascinating because it's a UK-based company, and what are they doing? They're doing quality control assurances. So products coming across in trade, they want to make sure that they're tested. They want to make sure that everything's up to snuff. No different than here. If you were in Mexico and you were shipping iron ore to China, they're going to test that material to make sure that the product, when it arrives in China, is good, right? It's quality. And you're not going to get your money until you do that. Okay. Because you got to prove it. So in other words, when you ship it, you got insurance, or all kinds of different things. I'm not going to get into that. But the cool thing is, check this out. Interreg began receiving and processing conformity assessment, because that's what they're doing, requests from July 21st, 2024, and with certificates of conformity to be issued on August 1st, 2024 onwards. That was yesterday. Okay? British company, quality assurance, products, testing. They started on the 24th. Is that what I said? 21st. And then now, as of yesterday, they are moving forward onwards. So the conformity assessment process involves a wide range of services designed to provide safe and smooth market access, including documentation review, product testing, like I just said, and consignment inspection, both at the country of origin and the country of Iraq. So basically, what is it telling us? It says Iraq remains strategic in the Middle East and a key destination for various exporters around the world. And basically, what are they saying? This company is well positioned to support exporters and importers targeting the Iraqi market and achieving smooth market access. International. This is World Customs Organization has been involved with trade. WTO has been involved with trade by extension, by far. We can see the writing on the wall now, you guys. This is telling us the writing on the wall. Iraq is moving forward. There is no stopping this whole thing. It's just a pick a day. You guys do it better than I do. I can't. I'm not going to. But I like it. But here's fun. Here's some fun, you guys. 4 Arab currencies top the list of the strongest in the world. Is the Iraq dinar among them? This is an article out today. Well, why would in that world would you bring up the Iraqi dinar when it's at 1,310? Why would you say that? Everybody and their brother knows around the world that it's like lousy. It's not, it's terrible. 4 Arab currencies top the list, so there's 4 of them. Kuwaiti dinar, 327. Bahrain dinar, 265. Omani rial, 260 to the dollar, right? Jordanian, equivalent to 141. British pound, equivalent to, what's that number? 0.000026? No, teasing. $1.26. Definitely strong to the dollar. Gibraltar pound, equivalent to same. Cayman Islands, 120. Swiss franc, 1.14. Euro has diminished significantly over the years, 1.08. And then the dollar today, $1. My view, Well, why is the dollar trading so strong at $1? Why isn't it like 60 cents? Why isn't it 50 cents? If it was crashing, why wouldn't it be less than that? Or 1.00 to all these currencies? Because the dollar has strength to it, you guys. So be careful on valuation issues. Okay, what does the one of the leading economies in the world have? We have power engine, which is our economy, but we have natural resources just like Iraq does. We might even have a lot more in a lot of different ways. But nonetheless, the United States dollars, USD, according to this article today, says it's still at 1.00, which technically is really strong in comparison to what the true value of it was back in 1913. But that's a totally different story. So anyway, what I wanted to get to also is that Soleil noted, Soleil, financial minister, advisor, forgive me, says that this is a quote. It says, he notes that until 1980, the Iraqi dinar exchange rate was 1 dinar to 3.3. 3.3 compared to, at this time, 1.168. So it was $1 to 1,168 dinars. You remember that those days? Okay. I'll give you a time frame because you can look that up too. And then what was that due? It says hyperinflation occurred during the latter part of the late outside of Saddam Hussein reign. So we all know that, but that's not what the case is today. That's not the case for the last 4 or 5 years, actually. Okay, next one is February 2024, so fast forward. He says, when this is done correctly, we can expect Iraq to become a strong dinar that is considered a store of value and perhaps even stronger than the dinar than it was in the 1980. And who is this? Al-Hashimi. You've seen me talk about this guy. I told you the other day, I looked him up. And if this is the same guy, he's been around a long time. He's an economist. Yeah, you got to put up some credentials if you want to get some information, and you can't hack it. You can't. Some people do that on the internet. We all know who they are, but that's okay. We can't do anything about that. That's on them. Their integrity is weak at best. But hey, sidebar. Alak, the rise in the exchange rate, this is Al-Alak. When? July 26, 2023. You've heard me say this. Al-Alak, the rise in the exchange rate, my time, and the project to delete the zeros exists. So Alak says, look, back in July, it still exists, basically on when? On my time. Because who is the one that's going to do that? He knows full well who's going to do that. It's his job. I think it's fascinating. And I think you guys probably do too. So it's pretty cool. It's noteworthy that tens of billions of dinars have been recovered in the recent months. Okay, so this is just basically going back over a reiteration earlier today, because basically $3.5 billion stolen. This file will not be closed and the real figures of that theft will not be revealed. So again, I'm going to reiterate this because this is kind of a cool thing, because the more money they claw back, the more they just bring it into the coffers, the more money you're going to make. That's me. That's how I feel about it. I used to say this quote, I think it was, the longer it takes, the more money we make. And I think they're going to prove me right. Sadly, Al-Khathimi's government was a system for stealing public, so he's going to get a bad rap on this, whether he's involved or not. It says big heads were behind the planning and implementation of the theft of the century. And the gentleman that was implicated at the beginning of it, he was the mastermind, if I'm not mistaken, is Hathim al-Jabouri, who was working as an advisor to Khathimi at that time. So look, it's just basically noteworthy that the dinars have been recovered. Tens of billions of dinars have been recovered from the corrupt individuals, etc. And they're still after those that they haven't quite got yet abroad. But the bottom line is that Iraq is in a huge way at this moment, I think, because of the nature of the circumstances. And you can see all these things that are converging at the last few days, last few weeks. Obviously, since al-Sudani has taken office, you can tell that he is dominated. It's fascinating. So thank you very much for being with us. I appreciate it. Hit that like button, subscribe, and we're going to see you really soon. And appreciate all those donations that come to those different places that you guys all know about. Thank you very much. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content. Subscribe to the channel or join us at the Militiaman Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much and have a great day.